Hi, I'm Mary Susan and this is Baking It Beautiful. In our last video, I showed you how to make your potato flake sourdough dough, and now it is done rising and we are going to shape it into loaves. Look how beautiful that rose. It is nice and full. So let's get going. First, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour here on top. It is not much. I am gonna punch it down and I don't want it to stick to my hands. This is the best part of all the bread making. So satisfying. So there it is, punched down. I'm now gonna dump it out onto my counter. I'm just gonna flour it lightly to make sure nothing sticks. And I am just gonna pull it all together into a big circular shape. This does not need to be perfect because we are just gonna cut it into 4 and then shape it into loaves. I love to use this bench scraper. I think this is the most underutilized kitchen tool that there is. I'll make sure to link it below because you can use this for all the things in the kitchen, and I especially love it for dividing up my dough into 4 parts for my bread pans. So I'm just gonna cut it in half. Look how beautifully that's sliced, so easy. And then I'm gonna cut each half into half again. If you want these to be absolutely identical, you can most definitely use a kitchen scale to weigh out your dough. I pretty much just eyeball it all the time and it works. Now I'm gonna take each section, and this is what I like to do. I actually take it just like it is and give it a little dunk in my flour. And so you can see it didn't add much flour to it, but just enough so it's not sticky. And then I take all of the sides and I'm forming it into a loaf and tucking it in at the bottom at the same time. We don't need to do any fancy making sure it's sticking or anything. This is pretty much it. It will stay closed because it's going to be resting in the pan like this and it will bake. So that's the shape I am going for. And I'm just gonna place it in my pan here. I think these are the perfect size pan. They're super difficult to find in the US. In fact, I prefer in the US to use the aluminum medium loaf pan that you can get and reuse it over and over and over again. I was lucky enough to find these here in Portugal, the ceramic size. I love it so much, and I will make sure to link the size down below. So I'm just going to continue doing that with each section. Dip it in the flour and tuck in at the bottom. Each of these pans have already been prepared. I buttered them and floured them to make sure that our bread does not stick in the pans. That's the absolute worst when you spent all this time waiting for bread and then it sticks in the pans. Absolute worst. So we don't want that to happen. I find that buttering them and then shaking flour in them as well is the best option. There you go, another loaf and one more. You get any air bubbles, you can just squeeze them out. I'll place that in my last pan. And now it needs to rise one more time. I'm gonna actually stick them back in my oven, covered. It's a warm spot. It will probably take about another 3 to 4 hours, probably less. And once it reaches just the top of our pan, we're gonna stick it in the oven to bake. See you back soon. My bread has been rising for about 3 hours and now it is time to bake. Just look at those loaves. They are beautiful, absolutely perfect. I like to let them rise till right when they get to the edge of my pan. I actually think this one might be a little overproofed, but it's gonna be okay. I don't like to let them get too big because then they will fall in the oven and you don't want that. You want these beautiful domed tops. I'm just gonna stick these in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes and then they'll be done and ready to cut into. My bread is done. The house smells absolutely amazing and these loaves of Potato Flake Sourdough Bread could not look any better. I went ahead and put them on a cooling rack. I don't like them to sit in the pans for too long because the bottoms can get soggy. But what I always love to do when the bread is fresh and hot out of the oven is take some butter and rub it over the tops of these beautiful loaves. It gives it just a little extra buttery taste that just makes it incredible. Oh guys, just look at how beautiful those loaves are. I think it's time to cut into it. Cutting into your sourdough bread, make sure to always use a serrated knife. Look at that. You won't find bread with a better texture. It's fluffy, it's soft. Guys, it's so good. If you would like the full recipe on how to make your very own potato flake sourdough starter and how to make the dough, make sure to check out my other YouTube videos and blog post, which I'll link down below in the comments. Bye!